What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half Chrome, and today I want to talk about this. This is the Anker 767. This is a gigantic portable power station. Now, we've reviewed power stations in the past, things like this tiny little flash fish, and it does a decent job. But this Anker is in a whole different category of efficient, powerful portable power stations. Stay tuned, I'm going to tell you all about this thing. I've currently got it running my setup here. I've got it running my computer, I've got it charging my phone, and I even have it charging some Avada batteries. I've tested this thing on a handful of different appliances, tools, you name it. And Chris even put together a fancy chart. So if you're wondering how long will this last with my refrigerator or my CPAP or power tools or even a blender, we've got that information for you. Stay tuned. Let's learn more about this thing. Okay, so this is the Anker 767 Powerhouse, and it is absolutely a powerhouse. You have 2,048 watt hours and 2,400 watts coming out of this thing. There are lots of different ways that you can charge it. You can even add an expandable battery pack to this thing. Lots of different use cases. First, let's talk a little bit about this little machine. I probably shouldn't call this a little machine because it's about 67 pounds. It is absolutely a heavy beast, but they've done some things to make moving this thing around a little bit easier. And you can see they have these wheels. That's really nice. Plus, there is a handle. We've got this easy tow handle that kind of expands so that you can kind of wheel this thing around like you would a piece of luggage. So let's talk about what we have here in the front of the machine. You can see a nice, beautiful color LED display. We have this light, so if you need to lighten up your room, we have different power levels for that, and even in SOS mode. So if you're stranded, you can just hold that light button down and it'll go into that. I can turn the display on and off if I want to save a little bit of extra power. Right here I have a Bluetooth, and that's so I can connect to my phone via their app. I'll show you about that here in a minute. We have this power saving button, so when it detects that things are fully charged, it'll just go ahead and stop charging for you. You can see we've got that little green leaf there to let you know that it's in that mode. I got a couple of USB-A outputs. Those are 5 volts at 2.4 amps. I have a handful of USB-C ports. Those are 5 volts at 3 amps. I believe it'll do 1 at 5 amps, something like that. We've got car sockets, right? So if you need to charge things that have car accessories, we've got 2 of those, little button to turn that on. In the AC outlet, we've got this TT30R outlet. This is to connect this to your RV to power some of those things. And then we have 4 AC plugs. You got to make sure that you've got this on for those to be charging. Now, if I spin this thing around, you can see how we charge it. This is, if I'm going to charge it via my car or some solar panels, I'm going to use this XT30. And then I do have a 120 volt AC outlet plug. I've given all of the cords and things that I need. So this is really nice, right? So if I didn't plan on my power going out, I can connect this thing up to my car and charge it that way. Maybe I want to take this thing outside and power some tools out in the field. I can charge it up overnight. Or I could add even up to 5 solar panels and charge it that way. So this runs on LiFePO4 batteries. That is lithium iron phosphate. And they are better than most LiPos. They're less prone to thermal runaway or combustion, which absolutely makes them safer for home use. They also have a longer and better life cycle, so they're going to last longer than your standard lithium-ion batteries. And that's by about 5 times, I believe. Now, this does have an app that I can connect to it via Bluetooth, and it gives me the information that I need, you know, the temperature, the battery life, how many hours are remaining based on what I'm currently doing, what is being used and what isn't. I can even turn on the light with the battery and the different inputs. Now, another thing you can do with this app, I don't really plan on using the app too much, but I was able to update the firmware to make sure this thing is as efficient as possible. That's really nice. You know, Anker is a quality company, definitely known for making good products, and they're going to support their products. So if they find bugs or things to make this better via firmware, you can update that via the app here. So you can see I already updated it. I'm running 1.1.7. That's the most current firmware. So check to make sure that you have the most current firmware on your device. So let's talk about what are you going to use this for. If my power goes out, the first thing I'm going to plug in is my refrigerator, and it's absolutely going to do the job there. Now, if I have an Energy Star 26 cubic foot refrigerator, it looks like I can get about 29 hours on that, so it's going to last me just about a day. Now, depending on the refrigerator that you have, give or take for sure. You know, I was able to run my refrigerator no problem, and even make myself a cup of coffee. You know, you're going to be able to do all of those things. I even have a pretty beefy 1500 watt Ninja blender. It powered that thing up no problem. In terms of electronics, you're absolutely going to be able to charge your cell phone a ton of times, roughly 200. You know, obviously depends on what phone you have. We do a lot of drone work here. I could probably get my Mavic 3 Pro battery charging. I've got about 27 hours of that. If I have my Mini 3 Pro that I'm charging, I'm going to get up to 77 hours of charge time. I can charge a whole bunch of batteries in that time. I'm currently charging my Avada batteries on it. Plenty of use case, you know, for electronics. It's gonna churn most of that stuff out pretty well. You know, if you have, say, a 55-inch TV and you wanted to set it up outside, or maybe a projector or something like that, it absolutely is capable of doing that. You could run an LCD TV outside for, looks like, 34 hours. Now, all these numbers on this spreadsheet, we've got a link down below if you want to take a look at it. And basically, Chris did these calculations. He's a lot smarter than I am. He's an engineer, and he used it based on the 2400 watt output and the 2448 watt hours. Now, if you add that extra battery, which I believe is a little over 4,000 watt hours, yeah, you're going to get more power, more time, absolutely. So just kind of keep that in mind. Other electronics like computers, you know, a laptop is probably going to be a better use case. You're going to be able to charge your laptop maybe 50 or so hours continuous. Desktop's going to draw a little bit more power, so maybe not quite as much, maybe 10 hours or so, unless of course you just have it in standby mode, but probably don't need to power it on for that. You're going to be able to run light bulbs for pretty much ever. Incandescent, if you still have those old 60 watt bulbs, you know, you're talking 34 hours. Now, an equivalent LED 60 watt bulb, you're going to get 228 hours. Plenty of time with this, right? It has the built-in LED. You're going to get 600 hours, 680 hours on that in low power, and then in high power mode, looks like 186 hours. So again, plenty of time. So what if you want to take this out of the field and power some tools? Yes, you can. I tried it. It absolutely will power up my chop saw and cut some 2x4s. You can certainly do that for plenty of time. I think the best way to do it is maybe use it for that, charge some batteries for your drill and things like that. Absolutely going to be okay. Take a look at some of the numbers we came up with here. Now, what about if you're hot or cold? Could you power some heating or cooling elements? Those really do draw a lot of power, so you're really going to have to think about that. Probably fans are the way to go versus air conditioners, so think about that. Portable heaters really are going to pull a lot of power, so you're probably going to get about an hour out of, you know, a standard 1500 watt one of those, but maybe a heat lamp or an electric blanket, those are two use cases that might make a little bit more sense. What about some other emergency things like medical equipment, nebulizer, oxygen concentrator, or a CPAP machine? This is definitely going to run your CPAP machine for maybe 10 hours or so. An oxygen concentrator or nebulizer, not quite as much time, 2 or 4 hours on those devices. Now, Chris and I also both have large fish tanks in our home. We're kind of aquarium enthusiasts like that. And you know, you got to be able to power the pumps and things. Probably don't need to power everything if the power goes out. So this is absolutely going to be able to power most of those things for about half of a day. You know, we're going to kind of go into survival mode and not worry about all of the heaters and pumps and air stones and all those things. You just kind of get the things that you need, and it'll last a little longer. Fish will probably do fine. And if your power's out and you're trying to pump some water out of your basement, yeah, you can run a half-horse sump for, it looks like, maybe 5 hours or so. That's continuous. Hopefully it is not continuous. Otherwise, maybe we have bigger problems. Now, I think this thing would be awesome at the beach or camping. Yeah, bring this, bring that big old blender. You'd be the coolest person there at the beach, blending mixed drinks for people, powering a radio of some sort, charging your drones, lots of different things you can do with this. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you're looking for something like this, check the link down below. We'll have a link to it for you. And if there are ever any coupon codes, we always drop those right next to the link for you so you can save a few extra dollars. No cost to you. It's going to help support the channel because, yes, those are affiliate links. That's how we continue to make videos for you. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Good luck, everyone. Happy charging.